Hello, dear students. So, we have moved to the second book for grade 12. So, the name of this book is Challenges of Nation Building. So, it traces the political history of India from independence till the current contemporary political situation in India. So it not only talks about the political history, but it also talks about the social movements and environmental movements and the various non-governmental agencies that were at work during this period. So this is chapter one, that is challenges of nation building. This is from book two, grade 12, political science. Now introduction. So freedom came with partition, like everybody knows. Partition happened in 1947 and which resulted in large-scale violence, displacement, and challenged the very idea of a secular India. Now, this third bit is very important. How did it challenge the very idea of a secular India? Because the partition itself was based on this idea of two nation theory, a Muslim Pakistan and a Hindu India. So, a Hindu India challenged the idea of a secular India. Yeah. The integration of the princely states in the Indian Union needed urgent resolution. So again, there were a lot of challenges by the princely states who wanted to maintain their freedom. So again, that became a challenge post-independence. The internal boundaries of the country needed to be drawn afresh to meet the aspirations of the people who spoke different languages. So internal division of India based on languages was again a issue. Now there is a poem by Faiz. I will open it up for you. Read it. So this article you can always read on scroll.in. This is how Faiz Ahmad Faiz's most famous poem came to be written. So Faiz, he is one of my favorite poets, and there is a poem. Uh, the poem was titled Subah Azadi, which means dawn of independence, and it goes something like ये दाग उजाला ये शब्द गज़ेदा शहर वो इंतज़ार था जिसका ये वो सहर तो नहीं ये वो सहर तो नहीं जिसकी आरज़ू लेकर चले थे यार के मिल जाएगी कहीं ना कहीं फलक के दस्त में तारों की आखिरी मंजिल कहीं तो होगा शब सुस्त मौज का साहिल कहीं तो जाके रुकेगा सफीना ए गमे दिल. So the English translation of it goes that stained light, this night-bitten dawn. This is not that long-awaited daybreak. This is the dawn in whose longing we set out believing we would find somewhere in heaven's wide void the stars' final resting place, somewhere the shore of night's slow washing tide, somewhere an anchor for the ship of heartache. And Faiz ended the poem with these lines: अभी गिरानी ए शब में कमी नहीं आई निजात दीदा ओ दिल की घड़ी नहीं आई चले चलो कि वो मंजिल अभी नहीं आई which means night's heaviness is unlistened. The hour of the heart and spirit's deliverance has not yet arrived. Let us go on, that goal has not yet arrived. So you can read this whole article. This is a beautiful poem. You can find it on Rekta if you want to read the whole of it. Now coming back to our issue of discussion. So now moving forward, challenges for the new nation. So at the hour of midnight on 14th and 15th, so like it was the midnight, so both 14th and 15th August 1947, but we call it 15th August 1947. India attained its independence, and nothing better to start it with reading the famous speech of Pandit Nehru, the speech about trust with destiny. Trust means affair. A lot of people don't know. Let it open. Yes. You can always listen to this speech on YouTube. It's a beautiful speech. Um, so of course we won't be able to read the whole, but I will read a few paragraphs. Long years ago, we made a tryst with destiny, and now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge. Not wholly or in full measure, but very substantially. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom. A moment comes which comes but rarely in history, when we step out from the old to the new, when an age ends and when the soul of a nation long suppressed finds utterance. It is fitting that at this solemn moment we take the pledge of dedication to the service of India and her people and to the still larger cause of humanity. So, this is the whole speech. It's a long speech. You can always read it. I'll read the last three paragraphs. We are citizens of a great country on the verge of bold advance, and we have to live up to that high standard. All of us, to whatever religion we may belong, are equally the children of India with equal rights, privileges, and obligations. We cannot encourage communalism or narrow mindedness, for no nation can be great whose people are narrow in thought or in action. To the nations and peoples of the world, we send greetings and pledge ourselves to cooperate with them in furthering peace, freedom, and democracy. And to India, our much beloved motherland, the ancient, the eternal, and the ever new, we pay our reverent homage and we bind ourselves afresh to her service. Jai Hind. So it's like a beautiful speech, and it also talks about this resolve of Nehru and his idea of India, which is both new and old. And then we move on. There were two goals after independence. The first goal was to we shall run our country through democratic government. So setting up a democratic government was our first goal, and second that the government will be run for the good of all. So set up a democratic government and then make sure that it runs for the good of all. There's this box about Mahatma Gandhi on page number 4. I would like you to read it. We'll discuss this during our Google Meet. Now, yes, this is the three challenges. So the first and the immediate challenge was to shape a nation that was united, yet accommodative of the diversity in our society. So we had to establish what we now call unity in diversity. So we had to make sure that we were united, but we had also to accommodate our diversity. So of course it was a difficult task. Sorry, it was not easy because this diversity has always challenged our unity. We have fought in the name of caste, class, religion, ethnicity. So again, it was not easy. The second challenge was to establish democracy. So again, India had always been ruled under monarchy and under like British rule. It was, of course, a monarchy, and before that also there were different kings and kingdoms. So again, to establish a democracy in such a huge, diverse place was a challenge. The third challenge was to ensure the development and well-being of the entire society, and not only of some section. So of course, India at the time of independence was highly divided. While most of the country was poor, there were a few rich people. So we needed to make sure that the independent country was not run by and run for the rich and the upper caste and upper class. It also catered to the needs of the lower caste and the lower class citizens. The condition of lower caste and aboriginals at the time of independence was horrifying, and we needed to do something. We all know that before independence, B.R. Ambedkar, Baba Sahib Ambedkar, he wanted a separate electorate for the untouchables, because he believed that in independent India, the upper caste people will again dominate the lower caste people, and India will never be able to be truly democratic. But of course, Gandhi somewhere forced his hand by his hunger strike, and Ambedkar had to sign the Pune Pact. And of course, the consolation prize that he received for this was reserved constituencies and reservation for Dalits. So again, Ambedkar, whatever he wanted to achieve for Dalits and untouchables in India, he tried to put it in the constitution, and that is what he could do at that time of independence. Because again, the freedom struggle itself was a very upper caste, upper class movement, and Ambedkar could not like stand against Gandhi, because then he would also fall down in the image in the eyes of even the untouchables. The goal was to evolve effective policies for economic development and eradication of poverty. So again, this was a very important issue because first we needed economic development, and also we needed to make sure that this economic development was even. It was not like some people were getting rich at the cost of others. So we could not rely on the trickle down effect. So a trickle down effect is that there is this upper class and there is this middle class and there is this lower class. Actually, more representation will be something like this: upper, middle, and this lower class. So economic benefits reach here, and then they like drip through this layer, and some of it reaches here, and then a little bit of it reaches here. So this trickle down effect was not enough for economic development, and we needed more socialist policies. That's why India moved towards socialist policies right after independence. Of course, the term socialism was added during the emergency by Indira Gandhi, but the constitution and the country, when it was founded, were both socialist and egalitarian in nature. So we needed to eradicate poverty, but of course that goal still remains unachieved. Indira started the slogan of Garibi Hatao, but that also could not achieve much. We are still a poor country. Around 30 to 40% of our population lives in abject, this absolute poverty, which means that they do not even have the basic necessities like food, water, shelter. So all these issues were there. There is this box about Jinnah and Faiz on page number 6, and Amrita, Pritam, and Nehru on page number 7. So I would like you to open your textbook and read them. We'll discuss these boxes again when we meet for our Google session. Now with this, I will end this video here. In the next video, we will discuss about the partition, displacement, and rehabilitation. So again, this whole chapter, this whole talk about partition will be discussed in this chapter. So again, like I would give a sneak peek here. So like it was two nation theory given by like there is a controversy like who gave the two nation theory, but current literature and history has proven that it was actually the Hindu Mahasabha who came up with the theory of two nations, and it was later, like it is said, advanced by Muslim League, and then there was a demand for the second nation, that is Muslim nation Pakistan, and a separate country for Muslims. So with this, on 14th 15th August, two nations came into being, India and Pakistan. 14th August, Pakistan was formed. 15th August, India was formed. So after this partition, we had a lot of violence, and then we had to rehabilitate, and all these people who had migrated from either sides of the border. So again, this next video will talk about all of this. So thank you. See you next time.